Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another World of Warcraft Classic video. My name is Cargos, and today we'll be exploring in Beyond Ultra Graphics, one of my favorite zones of all time, the Hinterlands. Whether you're leveling or doing endgame content, oftentimes we get so caught up in the grind that we forget to stop and smell the roses, and this applies to real life as well. So I think it's nice every once in a while to make an effort to go and just appreciate the little things and just look at the beauty right in front of us. So today we'll be going through the zone. I want to provide like an overview of the zone, tell you a bit about the lore, provide some commentary. I absolutely love the look and feel of this zone, show you what the quest progression looks like, what the level range is, so it can help you guys out. You can decide whether or not you want to, if you want to come here and check it out. And most importantly, I hope this video can help the people out there who aren't able to play WoW freely feel connected to Azeroth no matter what's going on in your life. Adulting is hard, and if you don't have time to play because of work or kids or real life stuff, hopefully, a simple video like this can just remind you of the good old days a little bit and just restore just a tiny bit of that childlike wonder. So anyway, let's get started. The Hinterlands is a vast, idyllic forest of stately hardwoods nestled above the Hillsbrad foothills in the northern part of the Eastern Kingdoms. You can start grinding or questing in this zone in the early 40s and stay here all the way to level 50 if you do so desire. With a humble population of only 13,000, this scenic zone is home to Falstad Wildhammer and the Wildhammer Dwarves, staunch allies of the Alliance, who established Airy Peak as the capital city. It is from these hinterlands that these dwarves find and tame the Alliance's world-renowned griffins from the razorbeaks that roam wild throughout the region. You can expect to find Wildhammer dwarves, forest trolls, high elves, green dragonflight, and wildkin in this region. The Hinterlands is one of the last remaining settlements of the Keldarai, or High Elves, not to be confused with the Cinderai, or Blood Elves. These few remaining High Elves have carved out a tranquil existence at the Kel Danil Lodge. The Hinterlands are also home to a large population of forest trolls, which are divided into three separate tribes. The Revantusk tribe is the only one of the three that has declared sides in the Horde Alliance conflict and support the Warchief Thrall of the Horde. The Vilebranch tribe holds residence in the massive troll city of Jintha Alor, as well as the Altar of Zul, while the Witherbark tribe holds the smallest influence, hailing from the temples of Shadra Alor. In the northern part of the region is the ancient massive tree Seridane, where the agents of the green dragonflight have been corrupted. A massive portal on the side of the tree connects the servants of the aspect Ysera to her own realm, the Emerald Dream. Now, before we talk about the lore of the zone, let's talk about how to get here. So if you're Horde, you're going to want to start from Durnhold Keep, and if you're Alliance, you're going to want to start from South Shore. You're basically going to head northeast, and eventually you should come to a break in the mountains, which has a little pathway into the Hinterlands. This is where we started the video, so you can rewind to see where the path exactly starts. So the Horde have a more difficult time. To get to the flight path, you pretty much have to go across country all the way to the coast, hopefully you have a mount at this point, but if you don't, just walk it. And then once you get to the coast and you see the turtles, just head south, and then you'll run into Revantusk village. The Alliance have it much easier. As soon as you head in, you'll see the gigantic statue of the eagle there, and that's gonna show you where Airy Peak is. That's where the Alliance flight path and the quest hub is. Alright, now to talk about the fun stuff, the lore of the Hinterlands. So this material is going to be from the sourcebook Lands of Conflict for the Warcraft RPG, published in 2004, pages 98 through 99. The earliest inhabitants of the Hinterlands were the forest trolls of the Amani Empire. This ancient empire stretched across much of eastern Lordaeron, with the Hinterlands at its heart. Many great troll cities were built in this region, and their colossal ruins still testified to the once great empire. The Great Empire felt the beginnings of its doom when the exiled High Elves arrived in Lordaeron. The trolls, though cunning and great in number, were no match for the arcane fires of the elven mages. The elven armies pushed the trolls out of the northern reaches of their empire and built their own cities in their newly acquired country, Kel Thalas. The trolls were forced to retreat to their bastions in the hinterlands to the south, where they would remain, wary of the elves and their magic for several generations. When the humans of Erethdor began organizing themselves into a true political entity, the trolls decided to prevent them from gaining a foothold in the political geography of the region. The Amani trolls massed their power in one last bid against their adversaries, but it was for naught. The High Elves, seeing a way to be rid of the troll menace once and for all, taught the humans the secrets of the arcane arts. The trolls were no match for the combined armies and mages of the humans and High Elves, and they were utterly defeated. This defeat marked the last time the Amani forest trolls would join together as a single nation. Scattered and defeated, the remnants of the Amani returned to their homes in the hinterlands. Because of their terrible loss, their well-established civilization was virtually gone, and their great monuments and temples began to crumble, with no one to keep them up. The next time the hinterlands would play a significant role in history was the coming of the Wildhammer clan of dwarves. After the War of the Three Hammers, the Wildhammer dwarves forsook their subterranean homes and traveled north to the hinterlands, where they built dwellings above the ground at the city of Airy Peak. They adopted a society that focused less on metalworking and mining and more on a closeness with nature. They were and remain unique among dwarves and indeed all races traditionally of the Alliance in their cultivation of shamanistic practices. The dwarves also soon realized they had a strong affinity for the wild griffins of the hinterlands. Soon they trained griffin riders who would fly into battle wielding the powers of the storm. So strong was the bond between the dwarves and the griffins that the dwarves constructed an enormous monument in the likeness of a griffin at Airy Peak. Eventually, these griffin riders would become perhaps their most valuable gift to the Alliance. Upon their arrival, the dwarves found themselves immediately at odds with the trolls of the hinterlands. The trolls view the Wildhammers as squatters on their ancestral lands and spare no opportunity to accost the dwarves by attacking the griffin Ares. By the time of the Wildhammer clan's arrival in the hinterlands, the trolls had recovered some of their numbers after the devastating war. These remnants split themselves into three separate tribes. The Vile branch was the strongest and held the ancient Amani bastions of Jintha Alor and the altar of Zul. The Witherbark tribe was weaker than the Vile branch, residing amongst the old temples of Chandra Alor and the ruins of Hirawatha. The weakest of the three tribes was the Ravantusk tribe. The Ravantusk trolls were nomadic and called no place their home. For many hundreds of years, this was the state of affairs for the trolls. It was only after the defeat of the Burning Legion in Kalimdor that the hinterlands began to grow in importance once again. After the Horde had established a new homeland in Kalimdor, emissaries were sent to the eastern kingdoms seeking allies. Some of these emissaries came to the trolls of the hinterlands seeking to renew the friendships of old. The Vile branch and the Witherbark refused outright, but the Ravantusk trolls, seeking to raise their position, reluctantly agreed. Thereafter, the Horde aided the Ravantusk in building their first settlement after centuries of wandering, Ravantusk Village. Because of the aid they received, the Ravantusk trolls are now staunch allies of the Horde. So what you're seeing right here are the ruins of Jintha Alor, and it is absolutely huge. The scale of it is just unbelievable. These waterfalls look really cool, but dare I say the majority of players back during retail vanilla didn't get to experience this big non-instanced dungeon. There's some cool quests here, and I mean that the scale of these ruins is I don't think there's one that's bigger out in the open world. It is just so huge, and I really enjoy the hinterlands. It's a very underappreciated zone, so I think once Classic comes, I'm definitely going to make an effort to try and quest here and spend some time in this zone. Unfortunately, there are way more Alliance quests than Horde quests in this zone, but I still would recommend getting the flight path here if you're Horde. There's also a one of those chicken escort quests here, so there's a couple of those. There's one in Teneris, there's one here as well. But I mean, look, as we fly up over this, the scale of these ruins, so huge. And look at this little pit with the oozes. They put some serious time into energy in making this place. But I mean, there's just 4 or 5 levels of ruins and detail. It's just incredible. Another thing I really like about the Hinterlands is the ambience of the birds flying around. There's definitely a big aerial theme to the zone, and you can hear like a lot of wind as you're going through it. So it almost feels like this cool, windy, sort of misty forest. It's a very kind of tranquil zone. I kind of like it for a lot of the same reasons I like Grizzly Hills during Wrath of the Lich King. So now we're making our way over to Ravantusk Village. It's all the way on the east coast of the map, so it is kind of a pain to get here, but it is a pretty nice sight. There it is off in the distance. The Flight Master is off on the little boardwalk, and this is going to be the Horde Quest Hub for the zone. So, we've talked about a good amount, guys. I don't want to ruin the ambience too much. I feel like I'm just ruining it with my voice, so I'm going to shut up now and let you guys enjoy, and I'll catch up with you right towards the end of the zone walkthrough. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Airy Peak is off in the distance. That means we've come full circle. We explored the zone pretty much fully. It was really nice and relaxing getting to see even that tree, this tree Saradane, and the green dragonflight there with the portal to the Emerald Dream. That is really cool. You got to see those high elves there at that little lodge. Overall, a really amazing zone, one of my favorites for sure. And if you haven't really spent any time here, I definitely recommend checking it out. So that's it for this one, guys. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep keep that classic hype alive. It's coming. Just hang in there, and just never sacrifice that childlike sense of wonder, no matter how old you get. That's the one thing I'll always refuse to sell out on. And until the next video, guys, have a good one.